Hey, Brandt, welcome to the show.
Hey, Geoff, thanks.
Appreciate you being here. I know you're extremely busy, and just to kind of get right into it for those listening, watching, so there's two ways that people are probably listening to this right now. One is either on the podcast, the audio portion, or they're watching the video piece, which those of you who are listening right now, there'll be a link in the show notes. So you can just click that link to go to the YouTube page or the blog and watch it. All right, so Brandt, I don't even know how you came to me. How did you find me? Because we're going to talk about the classes you're doing and all that, but how did you find me?
Boy, I think it was, I think I did a website search or something. I don't exactly recall, but I came across your site and I got some information on your Powerful Presentations program. And I thought, man, that sounds good. Because I had just, gotten back into origination. I needed a way to, bring in, connect with some referral partners, some agents. And so I tried it out.
And here you are. Yeah, so you were telling me right before we hit record that you had recently got back into originating, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct, yes.
So in full disclosure, what I want to have you here to talk about the experience you've had recently in doing Powerful Presentations and conducting classes. Had you done classes before in your business as a loan officer?
I never had, no.
Never had. So pretty brave, man. All of a sudden you want to get out there and start doing classes?
Yeah. It was, well, actually, I did do a long time ago, first-time homebuyer classes, but it honestly, that wasn't that productive. And when I saw your program, I thought, well, this makes a lot more sense, because now you're presenting to people who can continue to refer you business. So, yeah.
So what about when you saw the concept of, first of all, teaching classes isn't necessarily new, right? But why classes for you? What made sense because you're kind of, re-entering originating, you didn't have a lot of realtor relationships. So why did that make sense for you instead of like doing cold calls?
Well, because cold calls are just, actually you went over the statistics in the program and, you just, I guess if you're a glutton for punishment, that's great. But, this way you're giving people something of value up front and you're helping and it's just a whole different angle to come at it from. Whereas you're providing something, and you're truly earning the business. So because you're really helping them to build their business that they're referring to you. So
you were in a situation where I was many years ago when I started originating. When I got out of subprime and realized I was going to need purchase business back in 2003, and like no realtor relationships, and I did the traditional stuff everybody else does: cold calling, door knocking. But it sounds like you probably realized the same thing I did, which is like, man, I need a lot of realtors fast. And I didn't want a cold call because that wasn't that effective. And I didn't want to look like every other LO in town.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me then, how's it gone for you? You've done 2 classes so far.
Right. I've done 2 classes. The first one, we had 22 people register. And we had only 6 showed up. It was still good. It was still great. But I learned from that, like, okay, you know what? We need to actually call the day before. This can't all be automated. It can't all be email. We need to pick up that phone and dial. But what was interesting too is I reached out to you shortly after that and said, well, Geoff, what do we do with the people that didn't show? You said, well, email them or call them, and I sent the email basically verbatim of the what you had suggested, and I've got two transactions closing this month from an agent that I met with that didn't come. She had registered.
Didn't show up.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
What is that worth? What are those 2 transactions worth to you, roughly? You don't have exact numbers, but
Yeah, I mean we're probably $6,000 this month.
$6,000. What did it cost you to put the class on?
Let's see. I think I spent about $200. Well, I spent $300 on food, and I split that with a sponsor, and so $150 basically.
$150.
Yeah.
From your first class.
From my first class,
which had only 6 people.
6 people, correct? Yes.
Did I hear you correctly? 2 transactions.
2 transactions this month, yes. And then I'm still working with some of the other people, but that I wanted to bring that up because that was someone who didn't even make it to the class.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how did that go? Did you know her before?
Nope, not at all.
So wait a minute. So you invite an agent to a class, they don't show, you call and follow up and say, hey, sorry you missed the class. And they're like, what happened?
Yeah, and I just said, I understand things come up. Hey, would you like to, go grab a cup of coffee, sit down, we'll do a one-on-one. And that was the millennials class, the first one I did.
Yeah.
And I brought all the materials with me, gave her own ebook, and there you go.
When did she give you the referral? How soon after that meeting?
Week, maybe a week.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Okay. That's an incredible story, man.
I know. So it's totally worth, and it was my sponsor who got the word out to her, but my sponsor didn't, the title sponsor didn't actually know her. She just knew the broker. The broker told her, and so yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty neat.
Okay, so that's your first. That. I mean, right there in and of itself, right? $6,000 in commissions from a 6-person class.
Right.
And that's only one class. Doesn't, like you said, doesn't include all the other relationships you're going to be cultivating.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
So let's go to class number 2. Tell me about class number 2.
So class number 2, I just did on Tuesday, so that was the 10th of October, and let's see, we had 27 people registered, and 20 showed. But this one we did the phone call before, and if it was one of my people that I invited, I called, and if it was one that my sponsor invited, then she called. Yep. So and that the percentage of people that showed went through the roof on that. So
that's awesome, man. That's like what, I don't know the math, 80% or so more that showed. That's pretty solid.
Right. And a lot of them we called that weren't even from us. They were from email promotion. They were from Facebook, boosted advertising promotions. So neither one of us knew them. So we got a lot of new faces in there. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very cool. So what happened so far? That was just last week, so it's kind of fresh, but what's going on with that one?
That was just Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
that was only a few days ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've made your follow-up calls, right?
I've been making my follow-up calls. I found it's a lot easier to reach because what I do is, become friends on Facebook, of course. Right. And I found Facebook Messenger is the greatest tool because, people that won't pick up their phones and won't return your calls, you send them a Facebook message and they're like, hey, how's it going? I've been meaning to call you. It's like, oh, okay. Right. So yeah, it's
for the follow-up thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it was great for follow-up.
So have you scheduled any meetings with agents since Tuesday?
I've scheduled 1 so far, and I have like 3 that are wanting to schedule, and we have to figure out the time. So, but yeah, so.
Well, what did you learn now that you've done a second class? It sounds like one thing you learned is you definitely need a call to confirm attendance.
Correct.
Yeah. What else?
The other thing I would say is definitely like as they come in, as people register, I think reaching out to them right then would be great too. And just because it's set up so they get the confirmation email and everything, but actually calling them and say, hey, thanks, that kind of thing. I did put some questions on my Eventbrite, like what are you interested, what's your main thing you're interested in learning from this, right? That kind of thing. But just calling them and really, getting a better feel and making it real, making it real like, oh, there is a person behind this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so that is important. And I think what I will do in my future ones is when they register also, I'll go on and do a Facebook friend if they're not my friend already.
So maybe connect with them and say, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the class.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Exactly. And then the nice thing too is when you complete the class, you can put up a post and of course you tag everyone that was there. So
yeah, exactly. And it's a way to stay engaged and connected, right? So you're building,
yeah.
building your network of agents, and now you can follow them, you can like their posts and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, and that way you can put up one post, thank everyone that was there, and it's great, and you get further feedback. Besides, we were talking about all of these.
Hold those up because we're doing video. Yeah. So those are the feedback forms that you hand out at the end of your class.
Yeah.
How are you using those? How have those been helpful, like the questions or whatever?
It's nice because it asks them about the areas of business that they're needing help in. Mm-hmm. So right away, is there an issue? Is there something that you can help with? And it's a great way to kind of focus in on, because there's so much information, but this way you can really dial it in as to what is it you're really looking for. You want to focus on getting more listings, let's say, or you want to focus on lead generation. So it breaks it down, and so it's nice because you know exactly what they're looking for. And then the other section, it also has their problems, their frustrations, delayed call returns, no status updates, extended closing, those kind of things. So that helps a lot.
Isn't it interesting to see what people put down? Like, what are your challenges with your current lender?
Right. They're always communication, almost always,
So that's and you already get this. So that's our opportunity then to demonstrate that we're an awesome communicator by what you're saying is like you're following up with a phone call. Thanks for coming. You're doing the Facebook thing. Thanks for coming. Right. All of a sudden you're building this presence of like, hey man, this guy follows up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So how have you, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and then we have a mobile app that gives them real-time updates on everything, all the milestones. So in the class, I do at the very end, I do kind of like a little 60-second, spiel of some of the highlights. We do co-branding back to our clients for 7 years that they're all co-branded on. Mm-hmm. We have the mobile app that, and they can refer friends, prospects to that mobile app, so they get a version of it and has a private search on it for them, and then those prospects can actually share that with other people, and it still goes right into them. So I give kind of a really brief spill on some of our benefits, and that's it, and then follow up with them. And
those feedback forms, have you found those to be helpful for making the calls, the follow-up calls, and scheduling appointments?
And
yes. You found that it's kind of a warm call?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Makes it easier.
And a lot of them, a lot of the communication and following up isn't even calls anymore. It's just Messenger. Messengers work really well. Yeah.
The new phone call.
Yeah. It's interesting.
What do you expect to get out of, it may be hard for you to say because I know it was just done 3 days ago, but any expectations you have for that most recent class where you had 20?
Well, I mean, right now, I'm already meeting with one agent on Tuesday. And then, so, I mean, and there'll be more than that. But I mean, shoot, if you do one of these a month and get one good new person to work with, it's so worth it, because at the end of a year you've got 12 I mean, there's only so much that you can handle too, right? So if you can establish a really good new relationship every month just from doing one of these a month, but it will be much more than that, but still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just from your point alone, from your very first class, I mean, you got 2,000 to 6,000. So the odds are that's going to replicate itself.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Anything you're doing differently or looking forward to moving forward? So you've done the millennial class and the video class?
In the video class, yes. Just did the 15 essential videos class. Yeah.
What's the response from agents? And what I mean by that is, would you consider this your typical lunch and learn?
No. No, I wouldn't. I am certified to teach the continuing ed classes, but I have never actually done it. I did the certification and did all that, so I can teach them in finance. But here in Washington, they're 3-hour minimum classes,
right?
And it's, yeah, I mean, and, they have to get the certification or their, the continuing ed, but it's really not what they want to hear. It's not interesting. And what I like about these is they're short. You have the food, you keep it light, it's fun, it's an hour. We did these at Total Wine and More, so they do free wine tasting afterwards as well. That's right. Yeah. So, and everyone coming there is coming there because they want to come there, not because, oh my gosh, my birthday is coming up and I need 6 more credit clock out. Yeah. So it's really nice in that respect. I like this a lot better than Are
you doing the next class in the series? Or are you going to redo one of the others?
I have another one scheduled. This is actually really interesting now that I think about it. So I have another one scheduled at an office. The first two I've done were at Total Wine and More. But I am doing one at an office in Puyallup. And it was interesting because on the feedback form, or actually one of the questions that I did on Eventbrite is, how did you hear about us? And so the agent said, my broker. And so I went and met with him. I was like, oh, that was really cool that your broker, referred us or referred you to the class. And so anyway, he gave me the broker's name and everything. And I reached out and called her and said, hey, thanks so much for, referring him to the class and everything. And scheduled an appointment with her. And now so I'm doing one at her office.
So the broker invited you into their office?
Yep.
Is there an in-house lender there?
Nope.
No, okay, so maybe that'll be you.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean,
that's powerful, man.
Yeah, you can, if you start looking for those things, and people really are hungry for this kind of material because this is what they really need to build their business. And so
now, what's interesting about that is, I think from a perception issue is like, we don't want to look and sound like every other lender in town. Mm-hmm. And I got to imagine that you probably wouldn't have had that opportunity to meet with that broker had you maybe done a traditional class. Maybe you would. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I see that happen quite a lot, where you do a class like you did, and all of a sudden the ripple effect happens, and somebody gets word, and you're like, hey, would you come to our office and teach that?
Right.
I don't think they're as eager and excited, correct me if I'm wrong, for you to come teach that 203K class. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting today, even because I put that post up last night, I showed you, and I got 3 friend requests, and I was like, who are these? And, I looked at the profiles, and they're all agents. I was like, that's interesting. I haven't even talked to them before. So that's cool. So it was cool. Yeah.
So you're expanding your sphere of influence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And it's nice because it's, it's really helpful. And like for the video marketing, it's so nice because it's such a better way for them to be able to gain clients and that kind of thing, rather than like we were talking about, door knocking, cold calling, all that stuff. They can start really focusing on getting some, video marketing out there to bring in clients and to help out with the mundane tasks of, answering the same questions over and over, right?
Yes.
You create a video and it's an ongoing asset,
Hey, I'm curious. So it's funny, you're teaching these classes. I'm wondering now if you are also inspired to implement some of the ideas from the class.
Oh, I am. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Mortgage Coach. I use Mortgage Coach a lot.
Yeah, nice. Love Dave Savage. Yep.
And that really helps too, because again, you've got the video, and back in the day, so to speak, we used to go out and meet with the clients, after work at their home and explain things, and nobody has time to do that now anymore. So you can do a little walkthrough video. So yeah, video it helps so much. Because without it, since we're not seeing people as much as we used to, everything just becomes kind of impersonal. And
let me ask you this. Sometimes I get some LOs, they say, well, I'm a little bit reluctant to teach a class on video marketing because I'm not really video.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to tell them that, you're the messenger. And I've never had an agent say, hey, show me your videos.
Right, right.
So what would you say to an LO who's a little bit reluctant because they're not a like expert in the class topic?
You know, what I would say is that might even be to your advantage, actually. You know, if they see you and you've got, you know, thousands of videos out there, they're going to think like, geez, I can't keep up with that. So if you're just getting into it and then you have the seminar, you're fresh on that learning curve, and you can say, oh, well, this is what I use and this is how I got started.
Which they can relate to. It's very relatable.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very cool.
So, but and I never had anyone ask me about my videos. I mean, I have a YouTube channel and that's kind of thing, but I have a lot more videos I have to upload and make and everything. So I'm still just getting it rolling as well.
Well, I appreciate you being here. If anybody wants to ask you more questions, are you open to maybe a couple of LLs reaching out to you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's the best way to do that? Is it Facebook or Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, you can do Facebook, Brandt Stohr, BRANDTSTOHR, or my email is brandt@brandtstohrloans.com, loans plural.
Awesome.
And then my phone number is 206-941-9743. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Awesome. Very, very much. And for anybody who's listening, obviously, who wants to take, kind of that next step and enroll in Powerful Presentations, of course, that's powerfulpresentations.com. But anything you want to advise if somebody's like on the fence considering adding this to their mix?
Oh man. Yeah. The best money I've ever spent in any program to build my mortgage business.
And by the way, this is not set up. You and I we just boom, got on video and said, let's talk about your results, man.
Yeah, it's not this is not induced.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but no, really, I mean, it is. It's just so much value. And the videos or the programs that you put together, there's so much information in each one. And you could, from that, after doing those, you could create, like I'm thinking about doing a lunch and learn on past clients, marketing past clients. And of course, a lot of the tools that you have in the 3 courses,
right.
But just kind of gear it towards how to use these all towards, marketing effectively to your past clients. Because, if you use the standard tools and the little email drip campaigns and stuff, I mean, it's better than nothing, but what if you're sending them video updates and market, outlooks and that kind of thing, and you're using some of the tools where who's opening it and when they're opening it. I think it could be really powerful.
Well, we have more classes coming down the pipe as well. So, but that's a great idea for you to, and that's what don't wait for, right? You already got the skills to do it now. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Well, listen, I know you're busy. I got to jump on another call, but I do appreciate it. And we're probably going to connect when up in Washington next week. So, looking forward to that. And, man, I just appreciate you making time at, last minute here. And I want to also, just for everybody watching and listening, a lot of people see this kind of stuff. They think about doing stuff, but you did it. You took action. And that's all the rewards and kudos go to you because you took action, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You bet. And so for those listeners listening to the podcast, thank you for listening. As always, if you want to learn more about Get Powerful Presentations, go to getpowerfulpresentations.com. It is open right now for a little bit, and this is your chance to get in one class before end of the year and set yourself up for a great close of 2017 and momentum in 2018. So between now and like the middle of November, even after Thanksgiving and middle of December, that's 2 cool opportunities to do classes because things are a little bit more quiet. Yeah, you can probably capture a little more agents' attention, but it's a great way to just kind of set yourself up for success. So with that said, anything else you wanted to add? Look, you're good.
Nope.
Awesome.
Nope. I definitely highly recommend.
Awesome, man. Well, over and out. Hey, man, I'll be in touch with you, and thanks a lot for making time today.
Sounds good, Geoff. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye for now.
Bye.